Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to another edition of I Could Be Wrong. I'm Brad. He's he's Justin. Good to see you, bro. Hopefully having a good week
You
so
too, man.
far. All
You
right.
too.
We are week two in
So
the
far, so good.
NFL. We are gonna start off by giving a couple of our biggest takeaways from week two, and then we will talk about our beloved San Francisco 49ers and break down what we liked and didn't like about their game against the Saints. And then we're going to play a game of force or fraud. We're going to go through the 10 undefeated teams in the league at this point, the 10 2-0 teams, and we're going to tell you whether they are going to be a force or a fraud. We will probably agree on some of them, but there's a very good chance we're going to disagree on some as well. So should be some fun
Yeah.
conversation. So with that being said, bro, if you are ready, let's go ahead and jump into it. Week two is officially in the books with the two Monday night games wrapping up. The first game was a pretty exciting game, entertaining game, especially towards the end. The second game, not so much, with the Chargers basically handling the Raiders all night long. But with week two wrapped up, what are a couple of your biggest takeaways after two games for each team?
Well, just across the league, I saw a stat earlier that showed Daniel Jones and Russell Wilson are number one and two in passing yards for the season.
Yeah,
It's quite crazy. Quarterback injuries stand out, right?
yeah,
There's been a good amount of those. But one of the more surprising things to me, I guess, would be with the Colts and Daniel Jones, the way they've played. They haven't even punted the ball this season,
yeah.
not
First team
once.
ever.
First team ever.
First team in the Super Bowl era to
Yeah.
not punt in the first two games.
And we'll get to it. Obviously, I do believe there are some teams out there that are legit, and we'll talk about the
Yeah,
teams that are going to be forces and the teams that are frauds. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's been some real good football. You've seen some ups, you've seen some downs, but quarterback injuries sticks out the most, and then just odd stuff like I said, Daniel Jones and Russell Wilson leading the league in passing yards after two games, and really just the Colts in general. Like I said, not punting, man. That's pretty crazy. That's impressive, honestly.
yeah, that's very impressive. Anytime you can do something that hasn't been done in the Super Bowl era in a good way, that obviously that's extremely impressive. So, yeah, I would say
Oh,
that. Go ahead.
one other thing. Oh, and the Chiefs are 0-2. Oh,
The Chiefs are, oh, yeah, a lot of people are rejoicing in that. Uh, I think that they get off the schneid this week when they play the Giants, but we'll talk about that probably more on Saturday. But that's one of my takeaways as well is the not the fact that the Chiefs are 0-2. When I looked at the schedule, I thought it was very possible that they were going to be 0-2. I think I've told you how much I think the Chargers are going to be a force in the AFC. Obviously, the playing the defending champions is always a chance that it could be. I think it's what I take away from it is how bad their offenses looked. And I know they're down their two top receivers, so it's kind of, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But at the same time, their offense is the reason that they've lost both of those games, in my
I,
opinion.
I mean, hear me out on this, right? Hear
Yeah.
me out on this. Guy like Brock Purdy, he gets fucking shit. Pardon my language. He gets shit because of his
Yeah.
receiving core, right? Patrick Mahomes is
Yep.
supposed to be the best quarterback in the league,
Yep.
right? So I don't think anybody can use down receivers because you know what?
No.
Didn't Brock Purdy produce without his top receivers in week one this year?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so
Hey.
I understand, how some people might say that, but I
Yeah.
also want to make sure that those very same people don't demean Brock Purdy, my guy. You're
Yeah. You know who you are, Nick Wright.
it's you don't put
Anyway.
this on Patrick Mahomes, I think, honestly. It, so we'll see. Like you said, it's their
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah, I think it's the offense more than anything that has surprised everybody. So we'll see. I think for me, the other takeaway is like you said, I think just the surprise. performances by some of these quarterbacks. Obviously, Daniel Jones comes to mind. He's playing out of his mind right now. I
Yeah.
think Russell Wilson was helped by playing the Dallas Cowboy defense, which couldn't stop really anything. You know, Russ is not a young guy, and they just let him have his best game ever in his entire career as far as yardage goes. So,
Right.
you know, they couldn't cover anybody. Not that they were trying. It didn't look like it anyways. Malik Neighbors looked like Justin Jefferson 2.0 out there on Sunday.
So
So,
did Wandale Robinson.
yeah, it was an exciting game. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I think he was helped by the defense that he played. But I think Stan's last week, and not that he had a terrible game, it just was asked to do too much. I was surprised by Aaron Rodgers how he's played over the first 2 weeks. He looked really good in week one, not as
Yeah.
good in week two. Obviously, I think the game turned on the special teams mistake where they gave up the touchdown on the live kickoff. But I've been surprised by a lot of these quarterback performances. I was surprised by Mac Jones. I'll be very honest, pleasantly surprised. I figured he would have a decent game because I thought Kyle Shanahan would put him in good positions to not make mistakes. But he went above and beyond that. He made some big plays, made some big throws. He made smart decisions the entire game. So I've just been really impressed by a lot of these quarterbacks and how they've come out and impressed over these first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think the
Well,
NFL's in good hands when it comes to quarterbacks right now.
I think so too, and I think it goes to show that some guys just need a different scenario to
Yeah,
succeed, and we've seen it these last couple of years with
yeah.
different guys, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Justin Fields to an
Baker.
extent, Baker Mayfield, right? And Mac Jones, I mean, he was a top pick of the draft for the
Yeah.
Patriots. Didn't pan out over there, but did he really get himself in a
Well,
good situation, right?
yeah. I
Was
mean, the
he
first
in
year
a
they
good
made the playoffs.
situation?
First year they
Yeah,
made the playoffs. They won 10 games, I think 10 or 11 games, made the playoffs. And then for some weird reason, Belichick hired Matt Patricia, a defensive coach, as the offensive coordinator.
exactly.
And yeah, it went downhill from there. So, I mean, I agree with you. I think obviously where you end up, it plays a big part in how successful you are in your career. And I was happy for Mac Jones, but as a 49ers fan, I was more happy for the team overall.
Yeah,
Because he kept the ball rolling, he kept the train moving and the momentum going. And it was like we didn't skip a beat. There were some things
yeah,
out there that he did in week two a lot better than Brock Purdy did in week one. He didn't really put the ball in harm's way like Brock did in week one. Didn't try and do too much. Where I would say that Brock Purdy in week one, there were times, especially when he threw those couple interceptions, where he was pressing. He was trying to do everything and get everything back
yeah.
in one play. And I think Mac Jones really he stuck with the game plan, and the coaches did a really good job of preparing him last week. So I was impressed.
No, I was too. It didn't really surprise me because if you remember in our last Wednesday recording, I actually said, or actually, I think it was our Saturday recording, I said, I
Yeah.
think that they are not going to dumb down the playbook for him, which they
Yep.
didn't. I said, I think the only difference was the athleticism, which they talked about early right away because it was
Yeah.
pretty noticeable that he didn't have the same athleticism. He actually was a
He
little
still
bit
made a
more
couple plays
athletic
though.
than what I expected. Yeah, he
Yeah.
made some plays.
Still made a couple
And
plays.
so, I wasn't really surprised by that, but I'm happy it came out the way it
Yeah.
did because he played a great
Yeah.
game, honestly.
Played a good game. Yeah. So
I'm just
so
glad they didn't
that'll lead.
like.
Go ahead.
Now I was just say I'm just glad they didn't like treat him like a baby and be like,
Yeah.
oh, we're just gonna dumb down the playbook for you. I mean, he aired it out a few
Yep.
good times.
He did. He did. He impressed me. I will say that though. If he plays that way for every game or similar to that for every game that he's in there for Brock, I think he's setting himself up for a nice payday maybe at the end of the year and a second chance.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting for him.
Well,
So,
that might
um,
not be much longer because Kyle Shanahan said that Brock's got a decent chance to play this week.
I
I
wouldn't
would
be
hope not,
surprised.
honestly. I think that going maybe he wants to do that because they're going against the Cardinals. They're both 2-0 right now, right? But
Yeah.
I also feel like the Cardinals are the well, we'll talk about it more, but I feel like they're the worst 0-2 team or 2-0 team.
Well,
And
I don't know about
and
that.
yeah,
I would before about 4 p.m. Sunday, I would or Monday, I would agree with you. Or Monday before Monday morning, I would probably agree with you. But there was some news that broke Monday morning that'll make me disagree with you. But we'll get to that.
all right.
But yeah, I think it's just, again, he looked really good. 49ers overall. We'll kind of just roll right into recapping that game.
Yeah.
Uh, I think they looked really good. They looked balanced. Obviously there were some hairy moments in the game, but that's to be expected when you got a backup quarterback. The Saints were at home. They always play tough. They got a live crowd always. This time, though, it seemed like it was majority San Francisco 49er crowd than New Orleans Saints because the faithful like to travel. I was very pleased
Cam
with
Jordan
Juwan
called him out.
Jennings. Yeah, he did. I was very pleased with Juwan Jennings
He
showing
had a good
up.
game.
Had that big play in the fourth quarter for the touchdown to basically seal the game. Ended up being the game winner. Fred Warner everywhere again, 11 tackles with forced fumbles. So I'm
Defensive player of the
pleased.
week.
I'm pleased with the way they played with the backup in there. I'm pleased with the game plan. Defense secondary started off kind of shaky. That was kind of
Yeah.
got me a little nervous. Felt like I was watching the Notre Dame game all over again. But for the second week in a row, unlike last year, when it mattered, the defense got them off the field. The defense did their job, got the stop that they needed. And that, remember, we talked about it at the beginning of the year. That was the difference last year. And the reason we lost so many division games at the end of the game is the defense just couldn't get the stop that they needed. And we blew so many fourth
Right.
quarter leads that so far this year, it's so far so good with Robert Saleh back in the building. So pleasantly surprised with, well, not, I wouldn't say surprised. I'm pleased with that so far, and hopefully they continue that trend. They just been stepping up on defense whenever it's required, which has been missing for the last, I would say, year and a half at least. At least starting with the
Right.
Super Bowl, when Steve Wilkes refused to change his defensive game plan until it was too late. And then last year, it was just,
Right.
it seemed like every other game, defense was letting us down at a crucial moment. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I was happy with the game overall on Sunday.
yeah, I was too. I mean, I came out and said I thought they were going to win. You said the same thing, and we got the result we wanted. But even better, I mean, we just looked good. They didn't even have their first penalty until the third quarter, right?
Yeah,
So
yep, disciplined
they started
game.
piling up there in the second half a little bit, which I think there was one drive where the 49ers gave the Saints 3 first downs on penalties on third down.
Yep,
So that kind of bit them, but still it was a relatively clean overall game. Actually, we lost our guard, but the 49ers had the highest pass block win rate in the NFL this last week of over 80%. So I was really impressed. I mean, what
yeah,
what more could you ask for when you have your backup quarterback in to have the best pass block win
yeah,
rate? You get your backup quarterback in, dude throws 40 passes almost.
yeah,
39, I think it was. It's crazy. Like, I
yep,
mean, so but like you said, the defense is our Achilles heel, and every year where we've had a long run, a championship run, the 49ers have a top tier defense, and Robert Saleh is bringing that. I'm thrilled with their defense this
yep,
year. So
yep,
far, averaging
yeah.
like 17 points a game after two, not bad.
Not
And
bad.
they just
The
keep it
the
up.
stars are showing up. D Winters, very impressed. I
Whew,
like D
boy is
Winters.
flying to the ball.
He was all over the field, just like Fred Warner last week. So that was great to see.
Yeah,
I would say that he brings the same physicality that Dre Greenlaw brings, obviously, because Dre he'd bring the heat. But
yeah.
he's always in the right position. He's always, around the ball. So I love to see it. I think I put it on our Facebook page. I think right now the 49ers probably have one of the top three, if not the best inside linebacker duo in the league once again, in my opinion.
Again. No, I saw it. Yeah,
So
I think so too.
yeah, so I'm excited about that. And Michael Williams was in on the quarterback on a couple of plays. Didn't get a sack, but he was in there. I think it was the first drive. He and Nick Bosa were in there pressuring the quarterback to cause the first punt of the game. So it was good to see him get involved as well and make an impact in some way too. So I know I
Yeah,
picked him to win Rookie of the Year. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, but as long as he keeps improving, I'm good with it.
that's right.
So. All right. So we'll talk about our prediction for the 49ers coming up on Saturday. I think you if anybody that knows us probably knows what we're going to say and what we expect. So
Yep.
no surprise there. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to what we want to call force or fraud. There are 10 2-0 teams in the NFL as of right now. We are going to go through them and we're going to let you know whether we think they are going to be a force or a fraud. Now, when we say force or fraud, we're going to put some parameters around it, right? If I say, I'm just going to put a team out, let's say Tampa Bay. Okay. If I say Tampa Bay is going to be a force, I don't necessarily mean I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. What I mean is I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. They're going to be a tough out, not necessarily the best team in the league, but they're not going to be a team that's just going to get walked over and fold down the stretch. So that's what we
Yeah.
mean by a force. Now, fraud is obviously a team that their record doesn't really reflect who they really are and who they're really going to be at the end of the season. They lucked out basically in their first two games, maybe. So let's go ahead and get started. Obviously, some of these we're probably not going to spend a lot of time on because they're obvious. So we'll start at the top. And just so you know, we got a little fancy force or fraud. Justin's
Here's
got his
mine.
Justin's got his handwritten ones, which are probably cooler than mine because I was lazy and printed mine out. But we are going to start at the top of the standings with the team who probably has the toughest, well, I would say toughest strength schedule, but their second game wasn't too tough. Either way, we'll start with the Buffalo Bills. They are 2-0. Obviously won that thriller against Baltimore with the 15-point comeback in week one. Last week, they blew out whoever they played. I forgot who it was. But do we think they are going to be a force or a fraud? I think we both know they are going to be a force. We won't spend too much time on this one. I think obviously we both agree Buffalo is one of the Super Bowl favorites. And as long as Josh Allen stays healthy, they're going to continue to be a
They're
Super
going to
Bowl
continue.
favorite.
Yep.
James Cook
And
looked
James Cook is
phenomenal.
cooking.
Boy, I'm telling you. Yeah, so I think no discussion needed with Buffalo. They are a force and they will remain one as long as their quarterback is healthy.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the Green Bay Packers. Three, two, one. I got force. Again, I don't think there's very much of a discussion needed on this one. The Packers, right now, they look like they have the best defense in the NFL. As much as we love the
Yep.
49ers and what their defense looks like, Green Bay's defense has looked even better and more impressive
A
with
lot
the
better.
addition of Micah Parsons. And the young quarterback is doing a great job of protecting the ball, longest stretch in his career without an interception. So um, I don't think you can argue that Green Bay is going to be in the mix down the stretch again, assuming health. So not a lot of
Yeah.
discussion needed on that one.
No, I think, and they got a great coach too. I think they got a coach who's right up there with our coach, and
Yep,
Kyle Shanahan. Honestly,
yep,
Matt LaFleur is an awesome coach.
absolutely, I agree. I Our question is his decision and time clock management sometimes. But as far as play calling,
Pretty
play
aggressive.
design, yeah, things like that, I think yeah, I agree with you. He's one of the great young minds in the NFL. Not to mention they also got a great running back who I said was going to fall off the cliff last year, and I was completely wrong. Josh Jacobs is still killing it right now too. So yeah,
Yeah,
Green Bay is definitely a force and as much as I hate to say it, I would not be surprised to see them in Santa Clara in February, playing for the trophy. So,
I know it.
all right, let's move on to another one. I don't think there's going to be much debate about, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. They are 2-0, obviously a win over the Cowboys in week one, and then a win last week against Kansas City. I'm going to say force. And again, as you can see, obviously we agree on this one. I think maybe not quite as far ahead of the rest of the league as we might have thought last week. But I still think obviously the champs are the champs. Um, one of the best rosters, if not the best roster in the NFL. And when it comes down to the end, they're going to be right there. Number one, because they play in a division that probably they're gonna run away with. It
Yep.
looks like it, anyways. And number two, like I said, they're just stacked from top to bottom. They're very well coached as well. I don't like Johnny,
Right.
uh, but hey, he wins, and you can't knock a guy that wins. No matter how much of a
That's right.
douchebag you think he is. So, all right, now we might get into some hairy ones. We probably agree on most of them, but we'll see. Let's start with the Indianapolis Colts. They are 2-0. As you mentioned, Danny Dimes, I believe, is number two in passing yards in the league right now. Haven't punted the ball in two full games. They scored on their first 10 drives of the season. Absolutely amazing. Booked their trip to Santa Clara in February, right?
Eh.
Frauds. And I want to preface this. I'll start with this one. I preface this by saying I think Indianapolis is a much better team than people thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. But
Including me.
but when it comes down to it, by the time the season is over, I think that they are going to fade. I don't have faith that Daniel Jones is going to maintain this level of play throughout the entire year. And history tells us that typically, unfortunately, with the Indianapolis Colts, at some point, Jonathan Taylor is going to miss a stretch of games, which is going to hurt them as well. So I believe by the end of the year, this 2-0 team will be found out to be fraudulent.
Frauds. I agree. I couldn't agree more. Daniel Jones he's had stretches like this, right? So until I see it for 4, 5, 6, 7 straight games, he's a fraud. He's only 2 and
Yeah.
0, and he's got one of the best running backs in the league. Guess what? He had Saquon. They didn't have quite the receivers or the head coach in New York, but you know, I'm
Yeah.
just I'm saying.
Yeah.
Plus, Indy's
No, I
defense is
agree. And
pretty good.
you gotta
So
look at the competition they played too,
show me something,
right?
bro.
I
Show me
mean,
something, Danny Dimes.
they beat Miami, who looks like a dumpster fire, and their coach will probably be looking for a job here soon. And then who they play last week? Uh, I forgot who they played, but they wasn't a
Tell you right now, Broncos.
Broncos. All right, Broncos are still middle of the pack to me. I'm not as high on the Broncos as a lot of people are, so I'm going to take that into account, and I'm going to say that Colts are going to be frauds.
Yeah, I
All
think
right,
so.
let's move on. We'll skip over this team. We'll come back to them. The next team up is the Cincinnati Bengals, who lost their starting quarterback for 3 months this past Sunday. Prior to Sunday, I probably would have said force, but I'm going to go with fraud. You know what? Actually, before Sunday, I still would have said fraud because their offense doesn't look very good. Their defense has actually been the best unit for them, which is surprising. But yeah, I think the Bengals without Joe Burrow have no chance of even making the playoffs, let alone doing any damage in the playoffs.
I'm starting to get Andrew Luck vibes. I'm starting to get Andrew Luck vibes with not necessarily in the sense that
Feeling a little lucky.
yeah, I mean he's definitely not lucky. He got his first 2-0 start in his career, I think, and
Yeah,
then he gets injured,
yeah,
right? So that's not very lucky. But I get the Andrew Luck vibes, not in the sense that he's going to retire or anything like that abruptly, because
yeah,
I think Joe Burrow is a little bit more mentally in the game than Andrew Luck. But I say that as far as organizationally and what you're willing to do to protect a franchise altering quarterback. And I think their lack of willingness to really heavily invest in that offensive line um, just is really baffling to me. And if I'm Joe Burrow, I think you said it. I'm looking for the quickest
Yeah.
way out of
I got to
Cincinnati.
get out of there.
I got to get out of there. Unless they
Mhm.
literally show me a commitment to protecting me, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta do what I got to do.
Yep.
Sorry, Jamar. Like, listen, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry. Catch me in free agency, man. We could
Yeah.
talk
We'll
about
pull
going
the
somewhere
Aaron
else.
Rodgers and Devontae or something.
Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
know.
no, I
But
agree
that's
with you.
what I mean when I say I get Andrew Luck vibes.
Yeah, I get it, and I do too. I mean, obviously, he's spent half his career rehabbing an injury, basically. You don't want that for any quarterback, let alone a quarterback of Joe Burrow's caliber, right? The game is better when Joe Burrow's
Yeah,
healthy and he's throwing the ball all over the
it
place. It's
really
more fun to
is.
watch. Um, yeah, I put on our Facebook page, or whatever it was, one of the socials. If I were Joe Burrow, I would demand to be traded in the offseason. I would tell them I am not stepping foot on the field again for the Cincinnati Bengals. And
Yeah,
it's mainly because, like you said, they have not invested in the offensive line enough to protect them. I think their best ranking in offensive line win rate over the last 6 years, I think we went through it, was like 27. That's the best they finished out of 32 teams. Horrible, right? But the other thing is, and Joe Burrow's probably got something to do with this because he likes to drop back and throw the ball, but they don't game plan for to protect their quarterback. They have him dropping back
true.
40 times a game, every game, and they
Every
haven't
game.
really ever committed to the running game. They let oh my gosh,
Mixon.
Joe Mixon. They let, obviously he's hurt right now with Houston, but they let Mixon walk, let him leave, and didn't do anything to replace what they lost in the running game, and that hasn't helped them either. So if I were him, it's from all fronts. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Thanks, guys, but no thanks. You can void my whatever we got to do to get me out of here. Let's do it.
I mean, but hey,
That
Jamar
that
Chase
would
and
be
T.
me.
Higgins got paid.
Yeah, and Hendrickson.
Yeah, I'm like, come on.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah, that's
so
total fraud.
So frauds. Bengals are frauds. All right. Maybe we'll agree on all these. Who knows? Next up, I don't think we did this one. The Los Angeles Chargers. I think we both agree. Force. The Chargers are definitely a force. I think that
Yep.
they have a sneaky, and maybe after another week or two, maybe not so sneaky MVP quarterback, or candidate
Yep.
at least in Justin Herbert. The running game is still coming along, not quite where you expect a team, Jim Harbaugh led team running game to be, but they're coming along, and the defense is playing really well. And I just like Jim Harbaugh. I mean, I've told you for a
Yeah.
couple of years now, he's just a good football coach. No matter what he did at Michigan, to me it's irrelevant because all of them cheat in college, if you ask me, one way or another. So
Yeah.
I think that he's just made such an impact on Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's healthy, which is important as well. So I think the Chargers are going to be one of those teams that could surprise some people and actually be in the Super Bowl at the end of the year. To be honest with you,
Yeah. I don't know that it would be a surprise to a lot of people if they keep playing the way they're playing. Um, their defense was really good last year. They just carried that over into this year. Their offense is
yeah.
actually playing better. This is the best version of their offense that I can remember
Oh
seeing
yeah,
with Justin Herbert. So I definitely think they have all the ingredients to put together a nice long playoff run and compete with teams like obviously the Chiefs. Right, they already
yeah,
beat them this year. I think they can compete with teams like Baltimore and Buffalo.
yeah. Yeah. So for me, that's what I want to see. That's what I need to see for me to say, all right, I'm 100%. Right now, I'm 97.5% bought in. There's still 2.5% out there where I got to see them play a team like Buffalo or Baltimore and beat them. Not that the win against Kansas City wasn't impressive, but when you play a division opponent twice a year, takes a little bit of the steam away because you kind of know their game. You know what they're going to do. They know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You know what they're going to do. So I want to see them against, like you mentioned, some of those other teams, Buffalo, Baltimore. Really, those are the only two right now that I could think of, and just really see how they match up and go from there. But I guess you're right because it wouldn't be a surprise if you think about the AFC right now and the way it's laid out. They're a top three or top four team easily. So,
Yep.
all right, Jim Harbaugh, if you win the Super Bowl in LA before the 49ers win another Super Bowl, I'm gonna be so pissed off at you. Actually, I'd be pissed off at Trent Baalke is who I'd be pissed off at. But anyways, that's another podcast for another day when I talk about Trent Baalke and Danny Ainge. Oh yeah, don't think I forgot about
Ooh,
2010,
okay.
Danny Ainge. Oh, don't think I forgot. Anyways, let's keep it moving. Next up, we got let's see, we got three teams left here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are 2-0. They have a win over the Saints and then a win over the Texans on Monday. By the way, that was Baker Mayfield's first primetime win of his career. I'm gonna go with Force. Okay, all right, our first disagreement. All right. Well, I'll let you kick it off. Why you
Yeah,
say
I just don't
fraud?
think they I just don't think they have the same firepower as the some of the top teams. I really at this moment only think there's one or two contenders in the NFC. Um, so we'll talk a little bit more
Yeah.
about that. But yeah, the Bucks right now, their defense doesn't look great. Neither of their games have been pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, so their offense hasn't
Well,
been putting up the numbers. I mean, maybe
okay.
when they get Chris Godwin back, it'll make a little bit of a difference. He'd be where's Bucky? Where's Rashad? I mean, these guys. Rashad did
Well,
get the game-winning touchdown, but
Bucky got the screenplay for 35 yards to get him down there. I mean, literally, their running backs are the reason they scored on that last drive.
yeah, I don't know. They just don't
Uh,
impress me right
okay.
now.
Hey.
Their wins don't impress me. They don't pass the
Okay.
eye test.
All right. All right. Well, I'm going to beg to differ, and I want to say that they do pass the eye test. Um, I think Baker Mayfield is one of those guys that you can't count out. He's found his spot in Tampa Bay. I like their offense. I think that they still got obviously some bugs to work out, like a lot of teams do after two games. But I'm not gonna count out any offense that's got Mike Evans out there. That's 1,200 yards and eight, nine touchdowns, 10 touchdowns easily. I think they're the best team in their division. I think they beat Atlanta in week one, and they'll beat Atlanta again when they play them again later this year. I don't think the Saints are a threat. Carolina's obviously not a threat. And I think that based off of the fact that they're in not such a tough division, they should have a pretty good record. I think I might have told you this. I know I told my buddy Tori this. I think Tampa Bay is going to be fighting for the number one seed throughout the year, to be honest with you, because of the way their schedule lines up. But I could be wrong, and that's why we say I could be wrong. But I think that they're right where they want to be, flying under the radar. Not a lot of people are thinking about them. They're going to win their fifth division championship in a row. They're going to host a playoff game, and like I said, when I say force, I'm not saying I think they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to be a tough out. Whoever they play is not just going to walk in and just roll them out right out of the stadium. I think that they can hang with any team in the NFC, if you ask me.
I, I don't think they're going to win their division. I think Atlanta. I mean, it's week 2. I think Atlanta's going to win that division.
Well,
Yeah, they'll pull it together. So we
okay.
definitely will see on that one.
We
But
will see. We will see.
uh,
All right.
that's why they play the games.
That's
But
why they play the games. And in this case, one of us is going to be wrong.
yeah,
Uh, all right. So we got one disagreement so far. We got three. Well, I said three teams, but we actually have three teams now. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals. They are 2-0, and they are fraudulent. They are a fraudulent 2-0. Um, I don't even know what to say about Arizona other than we've seen this book before. We've seen this story before. We've seen this what a few years ago they started what 9-0. Looked like they were going to run away with the number one seed and then fell apart down the stretch. Ended up losing the wild card round, I think. I don't even think they get to that point. I agree with you. I think they are. Let me take this back. Before Joe Burrow got hurt, I thought Arizona was the worst 2-0 team. Now that Joe Burrow's hurt, I think they're the second worst 2-0 team. Offense still isn't in sync. Quarterback and number one wide receiver still don't have the chemistry that they need to have. I will give them
Yeah.
James Conner is a workhorse. James Conner comes to work and does his thing every Sunday. You can count on him. But the rest of the team,
Just put me in,
they're
coach. That's his
yeah,
motto.
the rest of the team is just too up and down, too bipolar for me. You can't trust Kyler Murray. Um, Cardinals tried to lose the game on Sunday. It looked like it was wrapped up, and then they had to get a stop after the opposing team recovered an offensive, an onside kick. And otherwise,
Right.
they were in trouble. So yeah, I think that they are frauds. I don't think they had finished the season with a winning record, if you ask me.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. I mean, they've got a third place schedule. So not too tough, but
Yep.
they they lack a lot on defense. They almost gave the game back to
Yeah.
Carolina this
Yeah.
week, and their inexperience shows. I could be wrong, but
Nah,
they
I don't think we
it's
are.
yeah, I don't think we are. I mean, they haven't shown anything previously to say, hey, you know what, this team right here looks great. And then that plus, they were contenders last year, really, says, oh man, yeah, they're gonna give.
Yeah.
Nobody's scared of them. They're not.
No.
They're not making the playoffs, but even if they were, every team that makes the playoffs above them would easily have an
Yeah.
advantage over them, in my opinion,
I
talent
agree.
wise, from head to toe. I mean, there's two teams in their own division that have more talent than them head to toe. You know, just
Yep. I
how
agree.
it goes
All
sometimes.
right. Cardinals are frauds. You heard it here first. Speaking of the two teams in their division that have more talent than them, top to bottom, we'll start with one of them. The Los Angeles Rams. Force or fraud? I'm going to go with force as well, but I want to leave my options open. I reserve the right to change my mind on this one, depending on how the Rams look against the Eagles this week. I'm going to say force for now. And the reason I say that is if you look at the Eagles, the Rams' last 11 games, they're 9-2. The only two losses they have are against the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles, and they played them pretty tough in both of those games. So for now, I'm going to assume that those Rams are the Rams we're going to see this week on Sunday. If they come out and they don't hang with Philly and they get blown out, which I don't think is going to happen, but it's possible. If they do and they show that they haven't gotten any closer, they've actually fallen further away from Philly, I may have to switch my vote to fraud. It also hinges on Matthew Stafford's health. The wrong step for him and his back gets out, Rams are done, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he could get out of the bed the wrong way. Who knows?
Throw out his back while
But
he's sleeping.
yeah, um, yeah. I mean, the Rams are just a talented team. They've been there, done that. They've made the playoffs last year. I think they have all of the weapons they need
Oh,
to make another playoff run. They can give any team a fight. In the playoffs. They're not going to just roll over and
yeah,
let any team beat them. So yeah, I
yeah,
mean, you could go with a handful of reasons why the Rams are a force.
yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say they're a force right now, like I said. And really what I'm going to do is hold judgment until week 5 after the 49ers play them, and
Yeah,
then we'll go from there. Which brings us to the last 2-0 team that we haven't discussed yet, and that is the
we're
San
gonna disagree on
Francisco
this one.
49ers. Huh?
We might disagree on this one. I'm curious. I'm gonna be curious to see what you throw up.
What am I going to throw up? Ah,
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to right now. I have to right now.
All right.
I don't trust our kicking game.
That's
It all
it.
boils down to special teams. Yep.
Man, stop it. Stop.
Hey, let
Come
me ask you this.
on, man.
In recent years, how many times have you seen a doink or a double doink? I don't think we cannot trust our special teams. We can't.
I think we can.
It's not just our kicker though. Guys like Isaac Garendo, man, have you seen him returning the ball? Boy, it's awful. Our the rules are designed for big plays on special teams now, and I feel like we are the only team in the league who's averaging like 12 yards a return, if that. You guys see? So I don't know, man. For me, it's special teams, and I'm still not super impressed with the Brock Purdy led offense from week one. So just say I'm
All
happy with
right.
our defense.
Well, I'm gonna obviously disagree with you. I think that the 49ers are going to be a force because of the defense, number one. I think the defense is going to be able to cover up a lot of things for the offense. The defense is playing at a high level. We're only week two. They're just going to continue to get better as guys learn the scheme better. They play together more. I think the defense is going to continue to get better. I will agree. I'm not super impressed with the game that Brock had as far as statistics and a couple of throws that he made. But he made the one throw that mattered when it counted. He won the game. Um, I think if when he comes back, now here's the other thing you got to remember. He's playing half of that game with a shoulder injury and a toe injury that kept him out of the following game, right? He was still able to make the plays to score the touchdown to win the game for the team. So I'm going to give Brock a little bit of some leeway, a little bit of a leash, and say, hey, now on top of that, he lost his starting tight end in the middle of the game. You don't game plan for losing George Kittle in the middle of the game. Obviously, Mac Jones had an easier time knowing we're not going to have George Kittle. We're going to plan for Pharrell and Tonjes to be our tight ends. So I'm going to pump the brakes on saying the Brock Purdy led offense is in trouble. Okay, I'm gonna
I didn't
pump the
say it was in
brakes on
trouble. I just said I
pump the
wasn't happy
brakes.
with it. It didn't look great. And I think
Pump
you're
the
giving
brakes.
Brock a bailout
Yeah,
because you can't. He made the throw, but let me. Tongus saved his ass by boxing out that freaking DB and
well,
catching the ball, jumping in front of him. He literally jumped in front of him last minute. So I don't know, man. I,
he put the ball where the receiver could catch it. And what else
he
was he
did.
supposed to do? He couldn't
Yeah,
take a sack. He couldn't throw the ball away because a field goal wasn't going
yeah.
to help them. They had
I
to
mean,
get a
he made the throw,
touchdown.
like you said,
He made
but
so again, I'm not saying that like, I'm super impressed with what he did, but I'm also going to pump the brakes, like I said, because the guy was playing with an injury that was clearly bad enough to keep him out of a game. Maybe shouldn't even
yeah,
have been playing. Who knows, right?
yeah.
So I'm gonna give him a little bit of a
Just
pass.
a just an adrenaline junkie kept playing.
Probably. I mean, that's probably what happened. It's probably,
Yeah,
you were moving. Once he stopped moving, that's probably when all the pain sat in. It was like, oh shit, I'm hurt. So, but hey, that's cool. We'll disagree. You're jumping off the bandwagon after week two,
I
you
hope he gets it
traitor.
together, man.
I'm just kidding, bro.
For
You know,
$53 million sake, I hope he gets it
man,
together.
you know, uh, but again, I just think that all the other pieces around the 49ers, around Brock Purdy, I mean, I think
Yeah,
they're enough to that even if he goes down, and again, I know they were just playing the Saints. If they have to, I think that they could even win. I don't think they could win the Super Bowl with Mac Jones, but you never know. Nobody thought they'd make it to the NFC Championship game with Mr. Irrelevant, and they did, and they probably would have
or
won
a
the
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl had his elbow not gotten busted on the second play of the game or whatever it was, because they had a game plan. They were going to beat the, pardon my language, they were going to beat the shit out of the Eagles that day, and the Eagles just happened to knock them out of the game, and everything changed. So, if this was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, and the 49ers would have about 20 Super Bowls. But
Right.
that's not the case. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and say that they're going to be a force. And the other thing I'm going to throw in there and why they're going to be a force is this: four, I believe it's four out of the last six times the 49ers have started 2-0 on the road. They've made it to the Super Bowl. All of those times that they've started 2-0 on the road, they've made it at least to the NFC Championship game.
I hope it
Oh,
rings true. I hope future,
listen,
or I hope the huh?
this season is setting up perfectly, just like all the recent seasons in the past. The Packers look like the team to beat. They're the new young and up. They're on their way, and they are right on track to lose to the San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs as
In
we
Green
are
Bay.
as we are on our way to
Wouldn't that be
winning the Super
something?
Bowl in Santa Clara. That's what I'm saying.
Ooh,
That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. So that's me.
I'd love it. I'd love it. I wouldn't
Force,
hate.
baby. Force, baby.
All right, I
Force.
switched it.
But no, I understand where you're coming from. I think we got to see some more from the offense. I need to see some more consistency, right?
Yeah,
I
just
need
show
I
me
need to
more.
see
It's
Ricky
too early in the
Pearsall,
season for me.
right? I need to see Ricky Pearsall have the game he had in week one, 8 games in a row, 9 games in a row before we see a game like he had in week two. He was nowhere to be found in
Exactly.
week two. So yeah, I'll have to agree with you on that point. I think we got to see some more from the offense. I'm not as worried about the special teams as you are.
I am.
And like I said, I think the defense is going to make up for a lot of those things that the offense is lacking right now. Which is what has happened the first two games. The defense has made the defense has made bigger plays than the offense, obviously. So, um,
Yep.
yep, 49ers going to win the Super Bowl undefeated,
All the way.
20
No
and 0.
losses. 20-0.
All
It's gonna
right, now
happen.
this show has gone off the rails. All right, man. Any final thoughts on oh, let's do this one last one. And I know I didn't tell you we were going to do this really quick. Of all the 0 and 2 teams, there's 10 0 and 2 teams. Okay.
Hmm.
I think if you were to look at the standings, there's only one team that I think would be surprising that they are 0 and 2, and that's the Chiefs. Are there
Whoa.
any other teams that you see that you're like, wow? Other, maybe Houston. Other than that, Kansas City and Houston are probably the only two teams I think that you look at it and you go, wow, they're 0 and 2. What do you think? Anybody else? Or if you haven't pulled up?
Yeah, I mean, even before I pulled it up, I really expected Chicago
Yeah.
to start the season a little better than what they have. I thought they were going to beat the Lions. They should have won their week one game.
Boy, had they beat the Lions, bro, I'd have won $1,500 off of 50 cents.
See,
So,
but that's really it. I mean,
okay.
yeah, the
All right.
Texans is a little surprising, but it's kind of right along the same lines as the Bears for me.
Yeah.
No
So,
one else really.
Kansas City, do you think that it's time to panic, or are they're just got to get that one W in the win column, and then they'll be off and running?
Well, with Kansas City, I think they're just going to see their history, I guess, of close games catch up with them this year.
Yeah. They won
Even
17
when they
one-score
were at
games in a
full
row.
health, huh?
They before last week they won 17 one-score games in a row.
Yeah. So
So,
at the end of the day, I mean, that's what I feel like it's going to boil down to. Even when they have
okay.
a healthy roster, they're always playing in close games. So I think them getting a healthy roster isn't going to really change the fact that they're going to be in close games. You can't really bank on them developing chemistry right away, even when players get healthy, players get back from
Yeah.
suspension, this, that. Like, it's going to take a little time. I just, I think that they're going to be a good team, but those close games are going to be where
Okay.
it just doesn't go in the right direction for them
All right.
this year. And that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
So, is it time to panic? I don't think you can really panic as long as your team is in every game and has a chance to win. You don't panic. So right now,
Yeah.
no. Once you get
Okay.
to 4 or 5 losses in a season, and there's only a couple games left to go, or
Yeah.
half the season left to go, then that's when you
Yeah.
start to panic a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think they need to panic right now, but I will say this. If they if they struggle to beat the Giants or they lose to the Giants this week, Kansas City fans, you better start hitting that button. You better start smacking that
Yeah,
thing. That's what I will say. Because Dallas hung whatever they have 45 or whatever it was on them. And Dallas has no defense. That's why the Giants are still in the game. Kansas City has a defense. So they should be able to handle the Giants pretty pretty easily, in my opinion, and win this game by, if not double digits, very close. A 9 point win, minimum, I would say. But I could be wrong, and if they don't, Kansas City fans, you guys better start thinking about the
I'm
draft.
going to make a bet on the Giants to win.
Oh shit! All right,
Patrick Mahomes just got his first
three
three
game
losses
losing
in a
streak.
row,
Yep,
3 game losing streak,
yep.
and I think that continues to a 4 game losing streak.
Ooh. Well, we might have to talk about that on Saturday.
Yeah,
All right, man. Well, hey, that's all I got. I appreciate you getting with me. I know we probably went longer than what we planned, but hey, it was some
yeah,
good conversation.
yeah.
I figured we agree on a lot of it. I was surprised by a couple of the ones that we disagreed on. But hey, that's the fun of
Deserved
it.
it.
So, Saturday we'll talk about obviously the Thursday. We'll recap the Thursday game that's coming up here tomorrow, and then we'll do the same thing we did last week. Give a few
Some fantasy football.
couple fantasy highlights, couple of guys to look
Yeah.
to boom, maybe a couple guys to bust, and then we'll highlight some games and talk about our 49ers. Gonna
Yes,
whoop the
yes.
Cardinals' ass.
Woo!
All right. Well, we're out of here, guys. We appreciate watching. Don't forget, be kind. It is free unless you are talking to Cowboys fans. See ya.